Hello! Today we are going to do a little review of the standard division algorithm. Now, before you get to this point, you want to be very comfortable working out division problems with the stamp game and other materials first. Then, this is the final result of what we're working towards, but this is not the only strategy you can use. Now, as we get going here, the first thing to remember is that this in the middle is the dividend. It is the end of the dividend because you're going to divide it up. This here is the divisor. That tells us how many groups we are going to make. And up here is the quotient, the number of pieces each one of these will get. Now, the quotient in division is how much one whole will get all by itself. So for example, if you're using the stamp game, this is how much one Skittle will get, where you have the Skittle and then you have all of the different stamps for each shape and size. So here we would have 1,000 stamp, we would have 2 hundreds, we would have 6 tens, and then we would have 7 of the units or ones stamps. Now here we are going to be dividing it into groups of 4. So each one of these we want to share out. But right off the bat you're going to see an issue. There is only 1,000, but I need to make 4 groups. So what I am going to do is I would exchange, get 10 of the hundreds plus the 2 I already have, and here you can see where I now have 12 hundreds to share out amongst 4. Now I know that 4 taken 3 times will equal 12. So I am going to put my 3 up here in the hundreds place because each one will get 3 hundreds. 3 times 4 is 12, but remember, it's not just a 12. I'm actually in the hundreds place. So just as there are 2 zeros in 100, I am going to put zeros in the tens and the units place. Now, a lot of adults did not learn to put zeros here, so that might look different. I want you to write zeros down for now so that you can remember how the place value works. Eventually, if you get really good at this, you might be able to leave those off, or sometimes people will draw lines straight down. For now, I just want you to practice with zeros. 7 minus 0 is still the same. I haven't touched any of those tiles at all. 6 minus 0, still the same. I haven't touched any of those tiles at all. Here, I had 12 hundreds stamps. I shared out all 12 of them, so I have nothing remaining, no remainder. Now I am going to look next door, and I see that I have 6 in the tens place. Now I can take those 6, everybody gets 1, and I'll have a little left over, because 4 taken 1 time will equal 4. But remember, it's not just a 4 all by itself. I'm in the tens place. So I'm actually using 40 up. Now when I subtract to see what I have left, I will see that I still have not touched that 7. I had 6, I took away 4. That means I have 2 left. Now what I'm going to find is that I have 2 left over in the tens place, but it's not enough to make another group. So I'm going to exchange again. And this time I'm going to find that I have 27 units left to share out. Now as I share 1 in each group, I'm going to find that I have enough to make 6 nice even sets. However, I can't make any more than 6 because I'm going to be 1 short. But 4 taken 6 times is 24, and let's see what remains. So here, the remainder, I had 7, I used 4, leaving 3 behind. I had 2, used up 2, I have none left. You should always find that your remainder is going to be smaller than your divisor. If your remainder is not smaller than your divisor, that means that you have more pieces that you can share. Now, just to make this show up better on the camera, I'm going to go ahead and trace this 6 with black to make it a little bit more clear. So next up is how we write the remainder. Now, some people have you write a giant R for remainder. I do not prefer that, because if I go to eat with my family and we divide up the bill, they don't say, okay, everybody put in $14 I don't know what R2 means. So instead of the R, we are going to make this a fraction. Fractions are easy. They'll get you set up for working with fractions, and they always are a very simple way to end it. If you go into decimals, it can get a little bit more interesting and take a little bit more time. So what I'm going to do here is I see that I have 3. So I have 3. I need 4. So I have 3 out of the 4 that I need. I have 3/4 of the next group. So my final answer, my quotient here, is 316 and 3/4. So this is how I would write my final answer. If I divide 1,267 by 4, I will get 316 and 3/4. So there you have a quick review on the standard algorithm for division. Now the next thing that I want to demonstrate is how you can check your answer using a calculator. Now the first thing you have to remember is that order matters in division. This is said 1,267 divided by 4. I have to make sure I put this number into my calculator first. So I see 1, 2, 6, 7. Then here's the divided by, and nothing's going to change at first. That's okay. I've already pressed in the digits to make my dividend, and I've put the divided sign in there. Now I need to write in my divisor. So then I simply press the 4 next, then the equal sign. Now what you're going to see here is that the whole number matches perfectly, 316. But then, oh gosh, what do I do? There's a crazy decimal point here, and it does not match 3 or 4. Oh no, did I do it wrong? No, not at all. The difference here is that the remainder on a calculator is going to be put in there in decimal form as opposed to the fraction form here. So think about it this way. Here I have 75 hundredths as my remainder. 75 out of 100 would be 3/4 out of $1. So 3/4 of $1 is 75 cents. It's not that one of these is wrong, they are just equivalents. They are different ways of writing the same thing. So let's talk about how we can use the calculator to check our work, even if you don't have the fancy graphing calculator that will do it for you. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to get rid of this whole number. I only want to work with the decimal. So I see the whole number is 316. Subtract 316, enter. Now you will see I only have the decimal point. Now only having the decimal point means I'm ready to rock. I'm going to take this 75 hundredths and I am going to say times my original dividend, 4, equals, and voila, the number is 3. So 3 is my remainder. Here, the divisor of this fraction will always match. The dividend is always divided by the divisor. This is just another way of writing a division problem. It's 3 divided by 4. So you can see here that it gave me the final answer, And now I know that I have done my work and I have checked it with a calculator, so I'm ready to rock and roll.